This past Saturday night was yet another highly anticipated event at Dade City Motocross. The Stars of Tomorrow 85cc Invitational race was scheduled to be a showdown between the fastest 85cc riders in the state. The Stars of Tomorrow race was run very similar to the Monster Energy Sponsor Cup. It was fit right into the race schedule and featured two 10-lap motos with almost 20 racers fighting for the top spot. They also used the very similar to the Monster Energy Sponsor Cup practice session to get the fastest lap times for the first moto gate pick. It was the 13th moto in the race order on Saturday night. The Stars of Tomorrow were greeted with a mildly beaten up track for the first moto of racing. However, that did not slow any of these fast mini riders down. Going into the first moto, Wilfredo Guzman was clocked with the fastest lap time in practice, but it was the number 700 Yamaha rider Austin Collins who took the first moto hole shot and was quickly passed by the Honda ride of RJ Hampshire on the 21 machine. Hampshire quickly extended his lead as several of the other favorites had bad starts in the first moto, and at the end of the second lap, number 21 RJ Hampshire was still leading over the 700 Austin Collins, who held a solid second over the 18 of DJ McFarland and the number 6 Wilfredo Guzman. Guzman was very aggressive and able to make up for not grabbing the hole shot with sheer agility on the race course. Mason Price and C.K. Douglas were both expected to be running at the top spot of the pack, but did not get the starts they had hoped for in the first moto and were slowly working their way up through the pack to get to the top spot together. About halfway through the first moto, things began to shake up in Moto 13. Guzman was challenging McFarland for the third spot, and it appeared that McFarland cracked under pressure, making a small mistake and washing out ahead of Guzman, giving up the position. Unfortunately, this caused McFarland to finish back in 6th place for the moto. But the number 18 wasn't the only rider who hit the ground during the moto, as several riders went to the ground about halfway through the race. The race between the top 3 riders became the focal point about 7 laps into the moto, as Wilfredo Guzman was able to take advantage of the lap traffic and catch Austin Collins. Hampshire still had about a 3-second lead over the 2 riders at this point of the race. The white flag lap was the most exciting of all, as Wilfredo Guzman was starting to close the gap up on Hampshire. Hampshire clipped the edge of the track, slid out, and was left face down in the opposite direction as Guzman took full advantage of this mishap, winning the moto clearly over Collins in second and Hampshire in third. Hampshire got up and was faced with another immediate threat from Mason Price on the 93 Suzuki, who had finally worked his way up through the class. It was an extremely close race between the two to the checkered flag, but Hampshire was triumphant, getting Price the 4th place spot. Behind Price was C.K. Douglas on the 24 Kawasaki and DJ McFarland on the 18, with 821 of Kevin Steele and the 121 of Jared Jackson finishing out the top 8. Halftime with the Stars of Tomorrows featured an autograph session where more than 1,000 stickers were signed and passed out to the spectators. Surely a great way to get these riders' names out to all the fans at Dade City Motocross. Most of the racers on Saturday night were running double duty and racing additional classes to their night's events, but come time for the second moto, each racer came out swinging as if it was their first time on the track again. C.K. Douglas scored the second moto hole shot and faced no challenges to his lead for the remainder of the moto. As Guzman, who was the overall leader in the first moto, coming into the race, he had a much better start and yet found himself behind RJ Hampshire in 3rd place. Mason Price and DJ McFarland took up the 4th place and 5th place spot, both receiving decent starts in the second moto. Austin Collins, who had the hole shot in the first moto, was shuffled back to 7th place and for the second time was found behind Cody Chisholm. Early in the moto, Mason Price was closing the gap on Wilfredo Guzman, but around the 7th lap made a mistake and lost a couple places to Chisholm and Collins. Guzman and Hampshire were squaring up for another epic showdown throughout the first half of the moto. Guzman would catch Hampshire in the back section and Hampshire would pull away when they got to the front section. Finally, however, Guzman put the moves on to get around Hampshire after the step up in the middle of the track, once again using his aggression and lap traffic to work to his advantage. C.K. Douglas finished out the second moto atop of the podium and had one of the evening's most consistent moto rides. Guzman took second, followed by the 21 of Hampshire, the 32 of Cody Chisholm, the 700 of Austin Collins, the 93 of Mason Price, and the 7th place spot went to the number 8 of A.J. Meadows. It was Guzman who took home the overall for the night, along with the pit bike and the glory of being the winner of the annual Stars of Tomorrow race at Dade City. Douglas took second with a 5-1, and Hampshire took third with a 3-3, and that's how the podium broke down after the racing was done. It took a lot of people to make this event happen, and we would like to thank Pasco County Cycles, Kawasaki, Oakley, A&B Identification and Timing Systems, Enjoy Graphics, FLMX Magazine, iMoto, Unlimited Images, and Vortex for all coming together to put on this great event. It was a fantastic night, and we hope that everybody enjoyed it, and we'll see you back for the final round of racing at Dade City on November 22nd. It will be round 21 of 21, and it should be another fantastic round of racing.
From Wilfredo Guzman, he's my hero. Gotta get an autograph from Wilfredo.
What does that mean?
That means record. We're here starting tomorrow. Dade City.
Can we do that again? Go ahead. I'm nervous.
Randy Yoho's first time on camera here at Dade City Motocross.
You want to make a line where they got to stand? Oh. Big trouble.
Big trouble. She said we're gonna be in big trouble.
Hey, I was watching that today. Downloaded
Hair off, man.
one. Kimbo was in it.
I've seen that. I'm Moto. Hey, you can do that. Moto.
Hey, get my foot!